Welcome back. A short break. A short break. We were right. Not too long. Yep. Second series. Our last series, in fact, for the Chinese qualifiers here for ESL One Genting, as we head into the draft of Newbee.M against VGJ Thunder, an open qualifier team making their way all the way through to the deciding series that could put them into that Malaysian minor.
Perhaps you could argue a little bit helped out by LGD dropping out and then Keen Gaming moving up into the second round by default. But they beat Keen Gaming 2-1. We haven't watched that match, unfortunately. We looked at VGJ Thunder versus Sun Gaming in that 2-0 yesterday. But we have caught a glimpse of Newbee.M against the other Newbee Academy team, Newbee.Young. And that was... well, let's better not talk about it. It was some very quick games indeed. So I'm curious to see what they can do now up against a team like Thunder, of course, led by Sylar. Still on a bit of a roll themselves. They do have the task banned out, unfortunately, so have to go for something else. But with the Sanking Disruptor, pretty solid opener already in terms of just aggression, wombo combo, crowd control in team fights and all of that cool jazz. But a very early Tinker pick here. I'm not really convinced by that for the side of Newbee.M.
It leaves you super open to getting countered. Sure, you can ban the Storm, you can get rid of like Nyx Assassin and Zeus potentially, but VGJ, they've got Catch, they've got Glimpse, they've got Blink Burst Strike, they've got ways to catch the Tinker. Newbee.M seem like they are focusing pretty hard on maybe giving this Tinker a good early game and then playing around him in the mid game. But I'm never pleased when I see a Tinker opener in the first phase. I'm not sold, but I will reserve judgment to see what they do in the actual game as the draft progresses through to the second phase of bans. VGJ Thunder, though, Sanking Disruptor, super open, can still go, you know, for a Chaos Knight, look towards the Juggernaut, the PL, heroes to maybe try and jump in and damage down the Tinker once they catch him with that glimpse.
I think goes for some other initiation in the first place. Bad Rider also still in the pool for that offlane role, perhaps, if you want to push the Sanking to the forward position. So there's plenty of options for VGJ Thunder, and you can't ban out all of them if you're Newbee.M. Taking some time to think about the second ban in the second phase.
There's just so many heroes, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, do we ban Puck? Do we ban Zeus? We've banned Storm, but there's still all of these heroes that can catch. The Bat Rider's going to be their choice. A solid one indeed, but I don't know.
Again, yeah, there's still so many others. Like even heroes like Doom, Underlord to some extent. Like showing this early. I mean, Thunder basically have 4 picks to respond to that Disruptor already. It's in and of itself a pretty strong one. Coming in as their pick here at the end of the first picking phase. But yeah, again, maybe they have something up their sleeves. Maybe it's just a bit of a bait and switch. Safe lane Tinker to a weird Oracle Husker out of mid or something crazy. Who knows?
Getting ahead of yourself there a little bit.
Just spitballing, because like, what other reason would you have to pick up the Tinker this early?
You have a Tinker player. that's like the only reason. It's like we rely on our mid player to win the game. Let's give him his best hero. Go with the Tinker. Oh, it does offer you that kind of mid game split push. The enemies do have to focus on the Tinker early on potentially, so you do have that alleviation of pressure on your other lanes, which you can maybe look to exploit. Ancient Apparition now could lead into a Chaos Knight. That AACK definitely very potent force in lane and moving forward into the rest of the game. Apparently AA, his right arm is a ghost. Tinker is just pushing his mechanical arm through the Ancient Apparition. That's very rude.
That's an apparition, it's not real.
Tinker, stop. Stop it. Naughty.
Well, the other arm, the laser arm, is also just punching the Earth Spirit time and time again. But yeah, in all seriousness, I mean, it's also a pretty good combo already with the Earth Spirit, right? You have that extra bit of slow, eventually the stun, and these extra right clicks from the Chilling Touch. Like, we've seen it a couple of times in these games, and have good success, and then it's all about the Ice Blast to help you get these kills later down the line. What they still kind of need is a real jump hero. Earth Spirit is great for the first couple of minutes, but eventually you cannot really rely on him to start the fights for you.
You know, for the first time in the past couple of days, I'm glad that the ticket isn't here. And that we have Chinese names instead of their real player names. Because now I can dodge calling the Earth Spirit cat feces for the whole game. Cat feces, origami, and just origami cat feces. That would have been a wonderful sentence to spurt out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Great stuff, honestly. Newbee.M, get it together. Get some proper names. Fourth pick for them will be the Chaos Knight, as expected, leaving just the offlaner as the remainder. In their fifth pick, while VGJ could have a Night Stalker or a Sand King offlane, still unsure about that, but they definitely have their 3-4-5 picked up in the first 3 spots, and now they can start looking for potential to clear illusions, to catch the Tinker. You know, heroes like Sven come to mind potentially up against the Chaos Knight. Also, maybe a Tinker wouldn't be too unusual, but there's also, you know, Puck for that big jump and catch to lane against the Tinker is decent as well.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know, you look at VGJ, they've got kill power early on. They've got that first Knight, which they can really exploit with the Sand King Disruptor. They've got the Vision from Thunderstrike. Just need a bit more damage from one of their core heroes. Get these side lanes and the mid lanes as kill lanes. They go with the Medusa.
Again, one of these heroes that has not been banned out because you focus on some of the Tinker counters, but with the Chaos Knight picked up, Medusa is kind of the textbook counter. Like all you have to do is get up to that towards that Aghanim Scepter, and then you can insta kill all of the Phantasm Illusions with the Mystic Snake, easy peasy. But kind of can go both ways if you have a solid initiation up against a Medusa. Like you control up just a little bit, Chaos Knight maybe even going for a Diffusal Blade, but even without that, all of the damage that he has will zap through the Medusa's mana pool really quickly if you can get on top of her. But right now that's a big if. Right now the only crowd control that they have outside of the Chaos Knight himself is the Earth Spirit, and as I just said, it's not necessarily the most reliable later down the line. Like you miss a roll, you don't slow somebody down, and all of a sudden you're the one who's being silenced by the Night Stalker or just rolling into a Static Storm. Like there's so many things Thunder can do to counterplay that. Especially now with the Juggernaut as well. Another one of these heroes that can shrug anything, can shrug that kind of stuff off unless he gets silenced immediately. So I do like Thunder's lineup quite a bit here up against Newbee.
10 seconds.
I'd be inclined to agree. This off, like leaving your offlane hero to the last one and needing it really to salvage your draft. Come out with a Faceless Void. So you have Void AA Tinker to combo in.
Yeah.
CK Tinker with the AA as a secondary combo as well. But they have to come out of this laning stage with a good timing on bot, Soul Ring, Blink on the Tinker. The CK Armlet Echo Saber has to be key.
Yep.
But I do fear that the Void gets shut down early on in lane while VGJ stack up camps for this Medusa. But there's definitely comeback potential for Newbee.M if they're able to get this Tinker off the ground.
Yeah, but even then, like, you feel like you only have one way to really engage into fights, which is land a good chrono and then have the Tinker on the outside, and then Chaos Knight does the follow-up, which may very well work, but if it doesn't, then I do fear that Thunder might be able to just run away with it
5 seconds
and take the driver's seat, essentially, with that vision advantage from the Night Stalker, all of that crowd control initiation from from themselves between the Disruptor and the Sand King. And super fun Medusa, as you said. We'll see, though. Stranger things have happened, and both teams should certainly be motivated, right? This is yet another qualification game, qualifying game, even if you will. The winner will move on and go straight to Genting. The loser is out.
Best of 3.
Yeah?
Not just one game and done.
That'd be silly. We are not TI lower brackets in round 1.
No.
Not quite.
Not just one game they have to win, potentially 2. Definitely 2.
I was referring to the series. So. Of course, we're starting a little bit late. It was scheduled to start like an hour ago, but the first series went so long that we're only starting it up now with the first game in the Best of 3.
Sylar Juggernaut. Oh, yes. Disruptor backing him up. Medusa should have a nice time with all of these camps getting stacked up as well. Roaming Sand King and the offlane Night Stalker. Is it offlane Night Stalker? He has an observer ward given to him. Stout Shield, Fairy Fire. Definitely looks that way with the items he's got queued up. Walks straight past Earth Spirit. Now finally spotted, but he doesn't know he's being backstabbed here. Maybe potential for a kill with the Orb of Venom slowing him. Level 1 Chaos Bolt. Roll in as well. Night Stalker's been caught, slowed down, getting chunked to pieces here. With this Mango being popped, they have another stun to throw in, so first blood goes the way of CK and Earth Spirit.
Quite the commitment, but certainly worth it. I mean, you're not just securing the first blood for your CK, another extra couple hundred gold to work with, but also both of these bounty runes down here. But not the one up top, Sylar. Just, actually, maybe Faceless Void can try and snag it away. But he decides to time walk out a little bit early with the extra heroes showing up.
And Medusa waddles back towards the lane. So a very good early start here for the CK. Regen's back up with the clarity. We'll have the Ancient Apparition and the Earth Spirit both stick around, kill off the Night Stalker maybe once or twice early on. Going to have a pretty difficult laning stage, but this opens things up mid. You know, you see the Sand King here. Tinker getting burrow struck, hit by the Mystic Snake. Right click down a little bit, forcing him away from lane. As well as this top lane, the 2v1 there. So overall, it feels like the Dire team do have the upper hand as VGJ Thunder sets up nicely, but the roll in onto Night Stalker. This is where the problem lies, is if they give too many kills away to this bottom defensive tri lane, then it is well worth them having all of these heroes here. With a Void back and a Fairy Fire forward, he is still going to tick down potentially, but no, Earth Spirit salving up under the tower, the Void salving up with the Night Stalker as well. They turn back with the Sand King, burrow striking forward. They'll get the kill on the Earth Spirit as they dive in so very deep.
I think one of his right clicks just under the tower got interrupted by something. Maybe he did it himself, maybe it was just vision related. But he really wanted to get the last bit in, but unfortunately unable to really do so, instead feeding his own life away. You do still burn through the rest of the region for the Night Stalker.
Medusa in the meantime, laser rockets, not getting into the pit fast enough. Earth Spirit secures the kill there with a quick TP roll in.
That makes it worth it here, just forcing the Sand King rotation out of the mid lane, while simultaneously bringing the Earth Spirit in before that support can come back for the Medusa.
This is looking pretty good for Newbee.M though. Tinker's been given some room mid to farm a little bit. 3-1 against the 7-2, you know, it doesn't look amazing, but you know, like you're saying, the rotations of Sand King away from that mid lane. Now, the Bounty Rune battle, the kick back, Burrow Strike is there. Oh, it's the Sand King that comes out on top, wiggling his way through to the Bounty Rune, and now looking for the Regen Rune as well, but the Rolling Boulder gets ahead of him. Earth Spirit will snatch that one up.
Time is money.
Let's go look towards his first item though. I mean, Night Stalker, despite these deaths, at the very least, or despite his one death that he had initially, he's still getting a few levels here and there. He'll at least need level 3 and he should really be able to get that, unless his supports continue with this crazy amount of pressure here.
Still though, Night Stalker with level 2, first night will come around and he'll gank the Tinker once or twice, and that really will shut him down. So Newbee.M have to be very wary about the Night Stalker's rotations. Like right now, he's off lane, but he's been spotted by the Observer Ward. Once nighttime comes around, he's a little bit more of a problem, knowing where the guy's lurking. While up on top lane, what have we got? Juggernaut free farming, yeah. 17-9, and Faceless Void has managed to get a few levels up here, closing in on that level 3.5. As Disruptor unable to fully zone him out of lane just yet.
Gets a few last hits here and there. As long as you do have the time walk available, you should always be safe. One-time bottom again, stun. Drag back here onto the Night Stalker, into the Chaos Bolt, into the Cold Feet. Doesn't even proc because he dies too quickly. And that's kind of the downside of having a hero like a Night Stalker as your offlaner, especially in this day and age with the other team. So, a good job just controlling the lane equilibrium. You have to go very far forward to even get something. And, well, if you can't really effectively contest the lane, you're never really going to get too much experience here. A lot of it is being denied one way or the other.
Now Night Stalker knows about the ward though. Maybe a little too late, but he's pinged out the Observer ward knowing exactly what kind of vision your opponents have on you. Obviously very useful. But first Night is here. And this is where the Night Stalker really needs to apply that pressure. Whether it be on the spot lane or towards the mid, but you can see Tinker moving in and collapsing on the Disruptor with the help of Faceless Void. The TP away. Void, no time walk, can't get in the pit to look for a Lucky Bash or anything like that. So swift movement back to the fountain by the Disruptor will get him back to safety. And this is where the AA and Earth Spirit kick in. They know that Night Stalker wants to kind of rotate around and look for that mid-kill, so they're playing in that buffer zone between the two lanes, scouting out the Sand King, making sure Night Stalker's not making that maneuver. But still, level 2, desperately looking for level 3.
Yep. So the extra point on Void, it scales really, really well actually, in terms of damage. Almost doubling in the value, but they are not letting up here. It's a triple range creep wave, so it's very juicy, but both of the spots sitting around, trying to get something done here with the stun on the Sand King. They're immediately going to crit him down. And Night Stalker can't hang around either. Even Disrupt, I mean, what are you going to do? Glimpse is not exactly helpful if the enemy team is the one running at you instead of running away.
Absolutely nothing. And they aren't even stacking for this Medusa, it doesn't look like. They jump in again, Night Stalker's caught, the Cold Feet not going to snap just yet. Gets behind the tower as the damage in onto the CK. Glimpse back into danger with a burst strike there. Finally, surely, bring him down, but the Night Stalker dies first and the Chaos Knight is surviving. Not for too long though, as the Thunder Strike finally comes back off cooldown. And deep in behind enemy lines, Earth Spirit gets hit by the tower. He's been scouted. Range creeps following. Catapults chasing. A new creep wave arrives. But can the rest of them catch up? That's the question. He doesn't have a TP scroll. He has another roll in about 5 seconds time, but Night Stalker. Thank you very much. 1-2 punch. Down he goes. Quick and easy kill. That gets him a nice bit of experience as well. But I think overall, like this draft with the first phase Tinker, I don't know if the Dire have done enough to kind of counteract him in the mid to late game. They've got catch from Night Stalker and Sand King, sure, but the two core heroes, not particularly amazing. Like, they're not counters, right? They're not hugely amazing against the Tinker. Yeah. Sure, they can tank up, they can pressure, Jug can buy a blink, but that takes time, and it's still going to be a Tinker getting Soul Ring Boots of Travel at a reasonable timing and controlling this map up.
He's not really being gone on, even though he was very vulnerable in these early couple of minutes, but with so much emphasis on his bottom lane, it's never really been able to do that. Top lane now faces who? Tywok just coming off cooldown.
Got glimpsed back from Fountain as he tried to TP away. And here we go, Night Stalker, Sand King. Oh, look, they've been scouted. Oh, it's nighttime, is it, Night Stalker? You want to do night things at nighttime? Well, we have a ward that sees all. AA and ES also coming in through their own jungle to try and catch these two nasty little heroes. As Night Stalker makes the long rotation all the way up towards top. They found the Sand King, but a Burrow Strike to the low ground will keep him nice and safe. The rocket's not even used. Still level 1. Would not have been enough damage.
Tinker survives one more time. Does have the Soul Ring flying out now, one would imagine. Yeah. It is on the courier, so that will help him certainly going towards these Boots of Travel. There's not too many stacks at the very least, but top lane, bit of a tussle perhaps as they try to hunt for his Faceless Void. TP through from the CK actually, throws down a 1 second stun, set up enough for the slow from the Earth Spirit, and yeah, both of them will be able to punch him down very easily indeed. And there's no one just yet in the bottom lane to take advantage of that. Now finally Sand King rotating in to try and get a few levels of his own.
Medusa needs some stacks. They've started to build some up. Ancients will be stacked by herself. But this Radiant team, very, very quick to group up, play together. Synergy is there. The Dire seem a little bit lost right now. Early game pressure just hasn't been there. This Night Stalker has been close to a non-factor for the first 8 minutes or so, while the Sand King has been forced to come back and save him time and time again. Now Illusion will scout out the aggression, baits out a stun. And Newbee.M won't be too happy with that, would have loved to find the Medusa, get that big kill on the mid lane.
Very interesting to see this full-on roaming Chaos Knight right now with the Soul Ring, just giving that extra space towards his Faceless Void to actually get some levels for himself. And kind of like it. I mean, early on, Not the craziest amount of impact, only 2 points up in Chaos Bolt and Reality Rift, but it can make the difference here if you're combing that up with the supports, especially with the Ancient Apparition. And oh, they're looking for the Disruptor here inside the trees. Don't quite find him just yet.
Trying to leech level 6. Love to give that tome over to the Sand King. If you can get 6 on Disruptor naturally, it's all very good. Juggernaut now, his turn to roam apparently. 65 CS, he's had enough for hitting creeps. He wants to use Omni Slash to get some kills. With Sand King by his side, they want to find Tinker, but it's Earth Spirit mid that will be the one that presents himself. But there's loads of pings coming out from both teams. They know someone's around, and Earth Spirit, he realizes how dangerous the position he's in. He rolls away. Tinker, perfectly safe back towards the shrine, farming closer and closer to the Boots of Travel.
Yeah, again, he's not been accounted for at all. They've had a few tiny stacks there in this particular area. So only 900 gold or so away. But they're at least going to lose his tier 1 nade with Heat Ward keeping them alive and kicking. At the same time, Chronosphere comes through. Just only catches Sand King in the side, but that should be enough. There's a follow-up from the Chaos Knight. Even gets an extra illusion for good measure. So it makes for a very easy kill. The rest of the Dire, though. The rest of Thunder will be able to make it out and even get a kill elsewhere on the map. Second nighttime, or ultimate nighttime, I guess. Night Stalker. Coming back and finally putting some more points on the board for himself. 1-4-3 now is the scoreline.
Medusa nearly has the Mask of Madness though, so these stacks should be cleared relatively soon. Void's first chrono only netting a kill on the Sand King. With the CK heavily rotating, still keeping his net worth reasonably high, getting very involved in these kills. But they're just all buying space and buying time for the Tinker. Even if the Radiant go into these fights and lose, you know, get a 1-for-3 trade, they lose 3 and they get 1 kill, it's still worth it for them if Tinker's farming Boots of Travel, honestly. Juggernaut still aiming towards a Yasha, a long distance away from any real feasible kind of impact item. As Disruptor has hit level 6, they've got Static Storm trying to get a glimpse on CK. Not quite available as he goes back into the trees and hides in the fog. Tinker just keeps using these shrines and Boots of Travel is pretty much here.
Yep. 200 gold off. This camp will not quite give it to him. But again, close enough, considering that yeah, we expected a lot more pressure onto his lane. But the few times that Thunder actually attempted it, it didn't actually work out at all.
So that mid tower just died to creeps. There was no one there defending it, just died to creeps.
Okay.
I looked at the map, I couldn't. Maybe there was a Dire hero there, maybe, but it looked like there was just no defense from the Radiant, letting that tower drop. But the Tinker, there we go, Boots of Travel. Now the map opens up for Newbee.M potentially. They smoke. Not under a ward though, just away from that Dire Observer, so they think they have vision all across this area. But the Radiant disappear from the map. Juggernaut hiding away. Might pop his head out to kill a couple of creeps up at top. They've gone so far in though. Hunting for kills, desperately scrambling for something, but it's bottom lane where they found the Faceless Void. Instead they'll lose one of their own as their smoke gank does not come to fruition.
Sylar has to know that these other heroes, these Radiant side heroes, they have to be somewhere, and if they're not bottom helping out the Void, then they're probably hunting for me at the same time, so just TP straight back to mid. Not even tier 1, but to tier 2, just to be safe. Now, Radiant's revealing the CK with the Phantasm up top to get another tower. Should be traded away for the bottom lane. It's Night Stalker, skipping Creep Bears a little bit, and Tinker. Gotta be a bit careful here. You can fly over the trees a little bit, still on the other side. The glimpse back onto the Void. Not gonna be an impact here, but Sun's coming through, but more TPs. Big Ice Blast landing on top of the Sand King, so he's dropping lower and lower. The rocket spam flying through, but Medusa with the ultimate slowing down one. They got the Tinker with the Stone Form. Right clicks coming through, another silence. That's a double kill. Now finally the first Omni Slash of the game. Also bringing CK low. The body blocks on top of the spin. Great plays there coming out of the gate for Thunder, and they secure finally these kills. Not just the Tinker, but also the Chaos Knight, taking him down a notch.
Void getting glimpsed away the moment he wanted to chrono, so very close to catching 2 or 3 heroes, but VGJ, they group up, they know Medusa's strong, Juggernaut gets his Omni Slash off, he has a Shadow Blade now as that initiation tool as well, but one misstep from the Tinker in this game, getting caught there really not the best. Could have quite easily TP'd away, honestly, but he played aggressively and started running through the trees to try and get more marches, more lasers, more rockets, but that choke point with a stone gaze all over these heroes makes it so easy for VGJ just to turn and fight, while Newbee.M, without that again, we've seen Void offlane. If you have a Void offlane, it's chrono or bust a lot of the times, and if he doesn't get that ulti off, his itemization is just never going to be strong enough for him to be a big damage dealer, which really has been the kind of builds that we've been looking for, as that kill is not meant to happen. CK solo dies bottom. No spin for Juggernaut, he'll just go for the straight TP, but with a laser, the damage, the healing ward not keeping him alive through the cold feet. Silo will fall.
I think Void was thinking about the corner there, but held on to it. Would have been perhaps a little bit too late. But, I know, they got him anyway. Looked like almost looked like he was making it out. My bad. At the same time though, sounds of pop, sinking, lands or gets the whole set of spells from the earth with a couple of rockets flying in, but does have the invis, and now some help from Night Stalk as well as Medusa, taking a break from farming creeps just to farm a few heroes.
And just like that, the game slips away. Early rotations, early fights, working perfectly for Newbee.M, and then a couple of slip-ups here and there. All of a sudden the Jugger, the Medusa, huge potent forces that are tanking up and becoming unkillable heroes with Dragonlance now done. Should have a Yasha coming soon for the Jug. Sand King swiftly into the blink, about halfway there. But it's this Night Stalker. During nighttime, Newbee.M just do not have the positioning or the abilities to fight into this. They lose their vision in the darkness. They don't have the jump power, and they've got a full Spirit Vessel complete now for the Night Stalker to throw in onto the Tinker to cancel these potential blinks, which he has just picked up.
Yep. Well, here another glimpse on something.
Sending the CK back. He popped Phantasm hunting for the Disruptor, encroaching on that Medusa's farming area. But as that's happening, where on earth did
was Chronosphere used?
Chrono and Ice Blast and Tinker. That's a lot of expenditure to kill the Night Stalker.
The space created right there. Because again, I mean, they rely so heavily on this Chronosphere that now for like 2 minutes, the rest of Thunder can feel a lot more confident here and even go for these kind of kills. Silent on bottom does get scattered out by the Phantom, by the illusions. Illusion Rune illusions, no Phantasm illusions. It's on cooldown for 70 seconds, but still. Juggernaut, Silas, okay in the world. He's been TPing out just to farm the creep wave.
See ya.
Medusa's also continuing to farm. Like,
yes.
yeah. Another ancient stack there, yet to be taken.
Hurricane Pike is coming.
Yeah. Eventually it's going to have to be an issue, because as strong as the Tinker is, like, you still need time within these team fights to start bursting through the Medusa, and during that time she might well kill the rest of your team just to, throughout the duration of Stone Gaze. And
at some point you're going to have a situation where you need to Chrono Medusa and Juggernaut or you'll lose the fight. Yeah. Like, that Chrono has to really be huge. You know, we're not saying right now, but definitely once we get to 30, 35 minutes, maybe around the second Roshan, that kind of area, if this dire team, VGJ Thunder, can drag things out for long enough, put themselves in a position where a kill or two on the Tinker could potentially end the game. As they swing into this Radiant jungle, Night Stalker has ulti ready. If they catch a glimpse of someone here, should be able to see the Earth Spirit, I believe, with this. All my hotkeys are screwed. Maybe they didn't see him. He was pretty deep.
Not quite. I think it was just on the edge of the fog of war.
And now a smoke from the Radiant.
Ooh. I also believe that they scouted out the Thunder Smoke with an Ice Blast coming in the general direction just when they did, when they pulled the trigger on the smoke. So perhaps a bit unfortunate in that sense. But now the question is, can they get the Medusa here? This would be a very, very big catch indeed. Ice Blast already flying. They do have the vision up here, but forced stuff away to dodge the initiation. Now the ultimate to buy some more time, sinking and rotating in. And in the end, nothing will happen. Tinker, though, what happened there?
Are scanning.
He got killed by
Towards
Juggernaut.
mid lane, yeah, just solo ulted it appears, but they've got the glimpse on the CK. Epicenter channeled. This is a huge disaster for Newbee.M. Their smoke gank not working at all. Medusa with that Hurricane Pike able to dodge away from their initiation, get the Stone Gaze off and survive. Perfect from the Dire, but yeah, mid lane, it must have just been a Shadowblade Omnislash. Sylar reading the movements of the Tinker as all of this is happening. You know, the 4-man gank onto Medusa, and then the 1v1, Tinker gets caught. Newbee.M falling apart at the seams as they get picked one by one by VGJ.
Especially in the most important heroes, like they rely on the Tinker and CK so much to be the damage dealers. I mean, for Faceless Void, it doesn't matter if he survives and gets a little bit of extra farm because he has to itemize towards that more utility kind of focus. You know, with the Shadowblade now up and running sooner rather than later. But well, slowing down the Tinker, slowing down the Chaos Knight just gives you so much more freedom, so much more safety to go and shrug off maybe 1 or 2 rounds with the Tinker spells because you're tanky enough.
This Ags from Night Stalker is going to be huge. It's already proved pivotal in finding Tinker and finding openings to get kills. CK using Phantasm to farm Ancient Creeps, and are you moving into Roshan here as Newbee.M? That's a risky maneuver. Sure, you've got your Chrono, you have Ice Blast. Oh, Void has a Shadow Blade. That might be the defining factor in the next team fight. If he can land a big Chrono, the Newbee.M can get themselves back into this, but as it stands, 8,000 net worth lead for VGJ. Thunder, Medusa up at the top with Juggernaut not too far behind. Manta Style nearly done now to remove that laser blind effect from the Tinker. Pressure up onto tier 1, but you've got 2 lanes shoving into your tier 2s. VGJ will exploit this opening potentially.
Question of who blinks first, who wants to defend their side. Right now, just Illusion working away at the tower with, of course, also Siege Creep. With most of the damage here, and Tinker going with the next creep wave. Bottom lane will be traded away. Medusa left to her own devices. Meanwhile, the rest of Thunder, they're smoked up. Ice Blast bouncing across the map. Let's scout out this movement. The courier, they're probably gonna let that go in favor of some juicier target.
Here comes Night Stalker.
Smoke breaks. They don't quite have the vision though for the Void. Scouting out the extra reinforcements. Night Stalker still committing for it here, and alright, they do find him. Static Storm, Omni Slash bouncing through. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. He is. Ancient Apparition does get tracked down in the end by the Night Stalker alone.
Night Stalker 1v2 the 2 supports. AA and Earth Spirit both being forced back by the Night Stalker as he jumps over the trees. Then you have the rest of the team focusing the big tanky Chaos Knight. Easy kill for them as they pick apart Newbee.M once more. And VGJ will consolidate their lead with the cherry on top, the Roshan with a Santa hat. They're brought down by Sylar and crew. And Newbee.M really no recourse here, it feels like. They don't have the team fight, they don't have the abilities to really jump into these battles. As mid lane, I think Sand King just tried to kill the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, there was an epicenter involved, but
no,
not quite. Just keeping them honest, you know, keeping them away from this Roche pit even further.
But there's a Dusu with Aegis now.
How do you deal with this right now? I mean, what's to stop them from getting both of these towers in your off lane, and then also simultaneously perhaps keeping the mid lane pushed in? It's like one of the ways that you can actually deal also with the Tinker high ground defense. Just shoving in multiple, if not all lanes in at the same time, because, well, you can't defend all of them at once. There's only so much time in the world, even with the rearm and the Boots of Travel that's taking you everywhere.
Oh man, that dire scan. Night Stalker, he doesn't know the CK is so very close. Maybe he does now. Being pinged out.
Yeah.
Phantasm used yet again as a farming tool. This is when you know Newbee.M realize how far behind they are. They're trying to bait it out here. This is an illusion. That's the real one. Night Stalker knows. Being pinged out by his team. Sand King's like, dude, just stay back, stay back. Don't go in. There could be bad men behind him. Goes to farm the wave instead. As the rest of Newbee.M sit on the Tinker.
Juggernaut, look at this at the shrine. Omni Slash just going off cooldown.
Oh, Tinker, you're dead, mate.
Oh, what?
The blink?
What?
Rearm blink.
Oh, rearm blink. Right, I was like, what the hell? That could have been so big.
Is it level 2 Omni Slash? It is. Would have been close. That just blink up onto high ground, giving that time for the Tinker.
Yeah, but Juggernaut got the one click in, but the rearm finished like a millisecond later, it feels like. So the blink was not on cooldown, so he could get out of that again. A little bit interesting how that works. I guess you can shift Q it to make it instant, but still. Don't be baited. They realize that's an illusion. Almost Chronosphere that, but still, the fact remains, Medusa's getting bigger and bigger. It's a faster rate than a Tinker is even. And,
one big Chrono is all they need. He really does rest firmly on this Void's shoulders. Feels so bad when people pick off lane Void nowadays, forced to go Shadow Blade or Blink Vlad's. Really would love to go for the Mask of Madness Manta builds that we see, but
yeah.
Faceless Void moving forward, even with a Radiant Scan. I'm not sure where he's heading. Creating a nice little zone in front of the Tinker to make sure that he can continue farming.
Look at all these sentries in this area too. 5 sentries almost in a pentagram like that.
Got to make sure. Remove all vision. VGJ though, how long do we have? 2 minutes on Aegis. Let's get some usage out of this, shall we? Tier 2 up at top, still there as they find a catch onto Void. He pops Invis and they've got no reveal. Oh, the sentry, the glimpse drags him back. Do they have the storm? They do with a burst strike forward. They've caught the Void, but he's outside of the kinetic field and he runs away from the sentry. Shadowblade here from Sylar though, still trying to catch a glimpse of him, but they forced the Void back.
Just, missing this one extra sentry, glimpse just a little bit too far away. Not a lot of choice there for the Restopper. Still got what they came for. Tier 2 has fallen. Oh, Chronosphere to cancel TP. Juggernaut's actually in a lot of trouble here. And he will be killed. Very easily.
They backed up very quickly. Well, maybe you could consider turning that around with a Sand King, but they remove themselves from the fight immediately. They still have the Stone Gaze though to swing back into it. Nice Stalker still alive. The Epicenter channeled and cast in onto the Chaos Knight, obliterated as VGJ turn and focus down the Earth Spirit now with the clicks out from Medusa. Easily securing it another. Sand King can't jump through with the March of the Machines there. He can't blink forward while Void clearing up on the back end. Disruptor falls. Time dilation there. He's trying to chase down Night Stalker, but it looks like the rest of VGJ have managed to extract from this situation. The AA, oh, that's an aggressive move. Not sure it was intended to go this way, though. It's the Tinker blinking forward aggressively. This might be trouble with another burst strike. 4 seconds. They have the Yules to stop the Tinker from escaping, and he's put himself in harm's way. They thought that they could catch them on the retreat, but Void on the high ground, now caught by the Sand King. Now the burst strike down, but they need the Night Stalker to really secure this kill. They're chasing Earth Spirit. And 1 by 1, Newbee.M just feeding away kills.
I do not quite understand why they chase this far there. Into the Medusa, into the Aegis still. It's, since it's by now, but even the Void, it's a bit of a delayed 5-man wipe.
Yeah, six-man even.
6-man.
Because Earth Spirit died twice.
Did he? Oh yeah, he did.
Did AA die twice as well?
Possibly.
Maybe 7 then. Definitely more than 5.
Let's just settle on too many. Because Newbee.M, they could not afford that at the best of times, but now almost 20k gold lead here for the side of Thunder, and this is the point where statistically it gets very unlikely that Newbee.M will be able to make their way or play their way out of this one. But again, Chronosphere coming back off cooldown, so it will be available if Void is up. Also, the Tinker factor is closing in on that Agnum Scepter. But a lot of things have to go right. And not just once, but like they need to win a couple of team fights at this point.
Well, they've got Gem, don't they? Night Stalker, Ags, Gem, Hood. This is spooky for Newbee.M.
Radiant are scanning.
There's just no hiding from this Night Stalker anywhere for the Tinker.
They shove in all the lanes, they de-ward all of the cliffs, they make sure the Newbee.M have no vision, no safe way for Tinker to TP out aggressively and push out these lanes. Now they maybe try and bait the Tinker with his 4-man smoke behind him, now in front of him. VGJ, though, playing around their own vision. Observer Ward up on the high ground. They are nearby, looking for a go onto Tinker. He thinks he's safe back here. But VGJ, they back up. Not committing for this. Could have been absolutely huge. But Medusa, full butterfly done. 19,000 net worth and seems unstoppable in this game.
Quick disassemble and a Mask of Madness. You can probably swap in the Morbid Mask for the TP scroll if you need it, unless you have already some other item in the pipeline. But I don't know what that means, but I do agree.
I don't know either. Can we Google translate this? What does shubiao mean? Translate.google.com. Shubiao.
Book. Mouse.
Mouse.
Okay.
So he has mouse problems. Thank you, Google Translate.
Yeah. Sometimes it is accurate enough for single words like this.
Very good.
Even like transcribed in the Latin alphabet, I still don't understand how that even works for Chinese characters.
What do you mean?
Because like they've like God knows how many characters. But Chinese symbols.
You don't understand how what? I don't understand what you mean.
Never mind.
I don't understand what you mean.
Never mind.
They turn the phonetic
I guess, yeah.
into Latin characters. Diaolo. More Bushidao.
Yeah.
VGJ though, just closing out this map. Gem on the Night Stalker should spot out the one remaining Observer Ward that the Radiant have. Oh no, wait, they've got another one. They've got more down here. One ward remains for Newbee.M as they are holed up back in their base. 30 seconds or so until a fast Roshan spawn, but it is just farm central. Oh, there's a double damage rune as well. Of course there is.
Well,
they need to find a way to push out, but they've run out of smokes, they've run out of maneuvers they can make. They haven't landed that one chrono to win them the game.
Still always these big threats running about. Juggernaut with the Shadow Blade, Night Stalker with the Infinite Vision. Now to look for the backstab here, Void. He is invis. Gem range a little bit further. Might actually be surprised by this. That is Chronosphere only catches one. It's a disruptor. It's not gonna be enough. Medusa on the front lines with that ultimate chasing everybody away. Tinker with the lasers, but the Omniscience bouncing back towards the CK also. Good enough. Nice little stuns here, magnetize everything that Earthspirit can do.
What?
To try and help it, even gets out. What? What was that burst strike? That, what?
And then he used himself.
Out of panic.
Oh, goodness.
Out of frustration? I don't know. But
a CK for a disruptor, I guess, is how things end.
Yeah.
But we did have the chrono popped, and the Dire team still going to be reasonably happy with the way things went there. But you saw the strength of the Tinker Ags, that laser bouncing around, refracting off targets, making sure that Dusa and Juggernaut couldn't put as much damage into the fight as maybe they would have liked. Still, Omnislash finishing off the CK was a huge bonus for this Dire squad. But yeah, I swear the Burst Strike landed on Earth Spirit there. I swear.
Well, keep maintaining vision over this area. Radiant keeps trying to reward this hill, but it's now gonna avoid. Well, Chronosphere's on cooldown anyways, might as well get some information. But it is the Earthquake will probably die here. Laser bouncing through again, but there's also the spin to help finish him off. 1-4 trade, though, so Sand King does fall. Now another set of spells up against Juggernaut as the spin expires. Maybe for once they're going in a little bit too deep. Glimpse away to make sure that the Disruptor stays alive here. Now the kinetic fields also prevent the AA from chasing further.
Tinker laser spam. With that Ice Blast, huge! Taking that Jug and Sand King for an Earth Spirit. I mean, VGJ super overextending there, giving away needlessly 2 kills just to try and pick off an Earth Spirit, especially when your Medusa is down at bottom lane, farming away and split pushing and not fighting, overcommitting for just a worthless kill basically like that. Nowhere near worth it when Roshan is potentially alive, and well, we can see he definitely is. Faceless Void looking for this Shadowblade Chrono as it comes off cooldown. No one here though, as they will send this Night Stalker Illusion, scouting around with the gem still on him, looking for any Observer wards. Medusa sits mid, pretty much untouchable at this point. Buying that MKB to deal with the laser from Tinker. Void.
Oh god, there it is. That's a Chronosphere that we're looking for. Into the Ice Blast. Follows there with the Magnetize. Everything being dropped on the Medusa, but the rest of the team, of her team, coming in to try and help. And it's not actually enough damage. It's surprisingly tanky now. Burst Strike onto the Chaos Knight. Dust to try and help against the Sandstorm. A couple of skirmishes here on the sides, but Void has been taken care of with the help of Syla. Now, well, Stonegate is forced out. Everyone far enough away, but you've lost 2 heroes. You used your Chronosphere for nothing. You're gonna lose more heroes here, aren't you? Chaos Knight, no Mental Star to get rid of the silence. Now the glimpse back into the Burst Strike. This time it will connect, and that is something that the Tinker cannot stop. In fact,
that was not the chrono they were looking for, by the way. Solo on a Medusa.
I figured they'd have a little bit more damage, but I was certainly wrong.
And CK just bought... Yeah, okay, he sells it back again. So he's got buyback, but was considering buying up parts of his BKB. He might have to use his buyback now. 45 seconds without him as a jump forward, looking for the Tinker. Sanking. Deep in. Yules up into the air, but he doesn't have a blink available, and with the Ice Blast clipping, that will be the end of the Sanking. Over eagerness here from VGJ, just hunting for kills, which aren't really required. They're desperate to try and just end this game, it feels like. They've had enough. They know they're ahead. They know they're winning. 21,000 net worth lead, but they will go back and take the safe route here with the Roshan giving Aegis and Cheese.
It's not enough to be ahead. You actually have to execute properly. You have to reach high ground. And as we've seen, just 1 or 2 missteps with one of your heroes falling out of formation. Sounds on the right point. No Chronosphere anyway for another couple of seconds. Roshan will fall. Now Void actually in a bit of trouble if they can get a little bit of extra control on him, but they do get a glimpse of on the Earthbird instead inside the Static Storm. So he'll be the kill. The only kill by the looks of it, unless they can find something else. Yeah. Ancient Apparition. No interruption. Another glimpse only coming off cooldown. A couple of ultimates committed again, so Tigrond will not be pushed immediately at the very least. Again, more time for Newbee.M.
What is Tinker getting now? Is he really going Bloodstone? Not seen that in a long time. Bloodstone Tinker. Huh. Seems like he's desperate just to get as much laser rocket spam out as he can. Not an item we see too often anymore, you know, the Kaya, the Hex especially, along with Shiva's Guard as they get a chrono in onto Juggernaut with the Ice Blast here. He can spin and potentially run away. Damage not quite enough, but that bash will secure it. A double, in fact, from the Void as they chase forward onto Night Stalker now. Sand King in with a Burst Strike, but the laser bouncing back across the 2. Medusa arriving, but the rest of her team falling apart now as the Void chases forward with the help of the Tinker spamming these lasers. But Medusa finds at least 1 kill, continues her streak and aiming for more. Red Spirit rolling, boulder cancelled by the Burst Strike, and the Godlike with a double kill for this Medusa rolling forward.
It's walking in, starting to right-click one thing, anything, and then the split shot will take care of the rest. Everyone that's in range, it starts to melt. The butterfly, Monkey King bar. So much power from that hero right now. And, curiously enough, I mean, we were talking about this counter, with the Agnum Scepter, but never felt the need in this game. This CK in non-factor, certainly compared to what we've seen other teams do with that hero.
How many Ags are we going to have on this Dire team?
There's one Sand King.
We're going to have 3 soon. Night Stalker, Sand King, and Disruptor's aiming for 1. Team of Ags.
When is this game gonna end? How is this game gonna end? Chaos Knight certainly needs more. He needs a lot of time. No Midas or anything to help him with the farm, but he's still gonna level 20. You can even consider that plus 150 GPM in this situation, even though that BKB piercing reality could be super useful. Like spin.
It's all about the Void, the Tinker, and the AA. The interplay between those 3 heroes with Chronos and Ice Blast, and of course just Tinker rearming and spamming, but the Juggernaut has found a swift takedown onto the Ancient Apparition, and maybe now look for more. TP in from Tinker, lay down the layers of March, give a safe area, but Sand King in. Yules under the CK actually catching on there. 2 heroes, and the Chrono has done nothing. They didn't catch the Deucer, only the Night Stalker inside. This allows the Juggernaut to spin forward on the Tinker, the deny with a Bloodstone Suicide, but the Sand King clears up through the Chaos Knight. And with that, 3 heroes dead, turn it into 4. The long-range glimpse. Faceless Void back into the danger zone, holding a gem, but about to drop it as VG Gaming Thunder take down 4 of Newbee.M and swiftly move forward towards this Radiant base. They still have the Aegis for how long? 1 minute and 10 seconds, holding the cheese on the Juggernaut, and this might just be end game scenario.
Very awkward situation, like you lose your hero on the backline, the Ancient Apparition scouting out. Alright, there's a few heroes coming. So they hide inside the trees, trying to find a good position, but it was really not to be. Especially CK caught with the ult and then walking into his own teammate's Cordon Sphere. Complete non-factor in the fight, now forced to buy back to do something, anything here to try and slow this down. At the very least, he still has the Phantasm and the Mana Style Illusions to work with, but how much does it really matter with Medusa hitting so fast and hard?
Aegis for 30. They would love to just expend this, honestly. Let her die. Just let her die. It's fine. Ice Blast gonna come flying through. How long now? 20 seconds. Cool. Medusa just walking in. Literally doesn't care.
Gotta be careful if you mistime it, and it just starts the regen, but it takes a bit of damage. Then not that is for now, but it does respawn with it just in the nick of time. It's already died back on the CK. They're looking for more. Stackstorm catching Tink. Another deny?
Rearm.
Ah yeah, rearm works on that. I thought it didn't actually.
It didn't used to.
Well, it's all over the crying. Another Chronosphere does come out. It does catch Medusa, but less damage. Well, with the lasers bouncing through, a couple of time lock bashes, force a 4-star out, but it does get Stone Gaze off. Now the only slash. Bring down one, transferring over to the other. Then the spin to finish the job. Only Tinker, last man standing, and this time he does not even deny himself as the GG has already been called. We end with a triple kill for Sylar, so you could say we end in style. In convincing fashion.
Game number 1 going to VG Gaming Thunder. Kind of as expected, but some great fights there. Shut up, I've had enough of you, Juggernaut. Go away. Stupid, annoying,
You're hot and cold with that, right?
Loud man. Loud man. But some sick fights there, honestly, from Newbee.M early on, rotating with the CK, looking for openings, but when you have a Void in the off lane, you need to land. Big Chronospheres. You got a couple, but they just were never perfect, which is what they needed. Tinker, great game. CK, decent game. The AA and Earth Spirit roamed around and found pickoffs and kills and opened up the map, but VGJ just had the late game. It was always going to progress to this dire side, taking Roshan with a Night Stalker to give vision. Rank 2, proving his worth. VGJ come out on top. Smooth sailing all the way through to the end, but it was even for a good 20 minutes. Best of 3s, though, of course. We'll be back with game number 2 coming up in a short while, so don't go anywhere, guys. A few ads before the second game of the series.